fastest split. He's 2 seconds in front. Well, he's searching for his 4th Paralympic gold medal. He's coming down to the line. He's going to post a pretty quick time here. There's the time of Lantella on the left-hand side. He's going to get there, and Milton does it. He completes a clean sweep of Paralympic gold medals. He has one now. For Michael Milton, a clean sweep of gold medals here in the Alpine events, to win all 4 Alpine events in this category.
Hey guys, wow. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Good job. That's what I'm Mr. Milton.
I still struggle to come to terms with other people's attitudes. You know, I can't even do that on 2 legs. You must be amazing or whatever, and my attitude towards my disability is different. I'm the only one who's living my life, and so looking at my life, I have a unique perspective on that. I want to live an exciting and fulfilling life, and I want to achieve goals, and I want to do different things, and not everybody gets enjoyment and satisfaction from flogging themselves all day up and down a steep mountains or scaring themselves to ski at high speed or whatever. And that's perfectly normal, and you know, if I'm a little bit on the extreme end of things, I'm okay with that.
It's absolutely awesome to see him out here with the things that he's been able to do and show people that having something like that disability doesn't stop you. You can keep going and achieve your dreams. It's awesome.
I guess I don't think that much about my impact on other people. My motivation to do this sort of event is purely personal. It's about having fun, experiencing a new place, challenging myself. Yeah, it's not always easy or comfortable for me to see them thinking of me in a greater way than I think of myself.
Ultra Trail Australia started out 10 years ago now, in 2008, as the North Face 100. We had a total of 175 people to the race. We were absolutely stoked that we got that many people. We didn't think there'd be 175 people that would be silly enough to run 100 kilometres. So now we're coming into the 10th year, and we've got over 4,500 runners, along with another 10,000 or so spectators, family, supporters. So it's really grown over the years and now attracts an international field.
This is Tom and Alina's place. First meeting here to come and have a chat with them. Late 2016, there are a couple of things that came together that really culminated in me setting myself a goal of running my first ultra marathon at UTA 50.
Come to see what you're up against?
Yes, absolutely. What have we gotten ourselves into? I guess when I start, thinking about the research that I've done online on the course and looking at the maps and stuff, I've kind of, I'd like to finish in 10 hours. So, that turns into kind of running 50 kilometres on crutches through the sort of terrain we're looking at, up and down a lot of stairs, a lot of vertical in this course. And am I going to come through this challenge unscathed physically, mentally, and be able to get to the finish line?
So the start and finish are at Scenic World, and there's 2. When him and I first talked about it, I have to admit I thought he had rocks in his head. But this is Michael Milton, he's the real deal.
I recall when Michael told me he wanted to do the UTA 50. I don't think I took much notice of him at the time. I just thought, you're just going to kill yourself in the process. My concern is always his ability to keep going for that length of time. At what point does Michael pull out? And I've never seen Michael pull out, so I'm always a bit fearful that he's going to do some real damage.
So my cancer journey as a 9-year-old, I was in 4th class in primary school at the time. Not much experience of life, not much experience of illness or tough times or anything like that. Got diagnosed early in the winter, and I remember a meeting that we had at my official diagnosis. They'd taken a biopsy sample of the cancer out of my knee, and they sat us down and said, okay, Michael, you've got a thing called an osteogenic sarcoma, and here's what the treatment's going to be. It's going to be chemotherapy for probably close to 2 years. We're going to have to amputate your left leg above the knee. There's certainly some pretty rough times of chemo and sickness and running out of veins to put the chemo into, and I had this massive needle phobia. The taste of one of the tablets that I had to take, which I really hated. My weight close to halved over the 2 years of my treatment. Mum living in the hospital was pretty tough for her. There was no nice environment for parents to live with their kids. I was on the ward, and then in one corner of the ward there was a bunk room with a few parents in it, and so she lived in that bunk room for months at a time. My parents had a family ski business, and so my dad had to run that without my mum there, and my sister was going through puberty without her mum there, and having to live with my dad's awful cooking, and lots of tough things for the whole family. Some of the questions I asked in that meeting about what life would be like with one leg, and what would I be able to do or wouldn't I be able to do. So yeah, they're the sort of things that I remember about my childhood, and I guess it's different to most people's.
I've known Michael since we were about 8 years old. We went to school together. It was in about 5th grade that Michael had to have his leg amputated. I remember that the next day our school teacher read out a letter from Michael that said, today they chopped off my leg. I remember it was stuck up on the wall in the classroom, and just went to show that at that time he wasn't going to let this beat him. I left camera for a while, but my mum was always sending me little cutouts whenever Michael was in the paper. I was never surprised when he'd sort of break another world record in bike riding or skiing or, running a marathon or anything like that. Since coming back to Canberra, we've been going out riding, running, and enjoying skiing together.
Knowing that James had done quite a bit of running and regularly ran half marathons and things, mentioned to him that I was going to do this event if he wanted to come along. I thought it'd be fun, and so yeah, we hooked up and started training for the event together.
Weather's been pretty awful all week with I think 130 odd mil of rain over the last 3 days. Hopefully we can achieve our goals of getting some real volume in, so when it comes to race day we know where the real effort is, where the big hills are, what's coming up ahead of us and how much energy we might need to save for later on.
All week I was pretty nervous about this training weekend. I knew it was going to be wet, and I kept on looking at the weather, and there's just more and more rain adding up. In the end, I think they had about 350 mil of rain.
Last chance to bail out before we get wet.
Ooh, tempting.
Our first training weekend was a quagmire of mud and awful conditions and heavy rain and stuff. That weekend, it kind of started funny. I remember being early in the first day out running, knowing that we're going to be out running in the rain all day, that it had already rained 250 odd mil over the last 4 or 5 days. I remember trying to dodge puddles and keep my foot dry. And obviously 10 minutes in, I've finally had to give up and started splashing puddles and started to really enjoy it. As I learnt the track a bit more, I started to understand of how amazing a place the Blue Mountains is. The scenery up there, the cliffs, it's a really cool place to go and run around. I really understand why Tom and Alina and UTA go all the way to Blue Mountains to run this event, because it is a really cool place. My initial goal was to try and run UTA in 10 hours, and during that weekend I really came to a bit more of an understanding of how hilly the course would be, of what sort of pace I could hold on that. After that weekend I was kind of starting to think, 10 hours is pretty unrealistic.
And you don't lose your level. You're winning at the moment though.
At the beginning of our relationship, I probably thought that having one leg would be a pretty big issue in our lives together, but I've since worked out that that's not even close to an issue. Michael was diagnosed with esophageal cancer in 2007 and Matilda was 1, and it was a huge shock to both of us, I think. Obviously a huge shock to Michael. We both felt really cheated, and he suddenly felt very mortal. On the way back from the diagnosis, because we were in 2 separate cars, and he stopped and he had a new phone, and he had this horrible, horrible thought that his new phone would live longer than he would. And I remember stopping and going through the same process, but thinking about, Matilda, who was only 1 at the time, and thinking, oh gosh, and is this really happening? And is we're gonna lose him before she even knows him?
This is us. 50-kilometre check-in. Good? Okay.
You are Michael?
Yeah, that's me.
So I've seen all that you on Facebook and all your training.
Yeah, cool.
Quite an
Thank you.
undertaking. Good on you.
We'll see.
It's quite an honour to be in your presence, really.
How about that? I like it.
Thank you.
Pretty cool walking around in here. You feel like a big rock star doing signatures and stuff, and yeah, it's very cool. Well done. Let's go run this thing. It's been so long.
Friday evening at 5 o'clock-ish, about an hour before the briefing, I got the inside word that the course was going to be completely changed and that we're going to go on a 50k course that I hadn't run a step of.
And that's sort of open field in fact.
So yeah, got my head around the course, and probably Friday afternoon, evening, felt pretty nervous about it.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for the info. Good luck. Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. So basically the changes we've got is that they're going to run us on the first 50k's of the 100 course. So where we run tomorrow is nowhere that we've been before. We haven't trained on it, we haven't done anything.
I spoke to James, spoke to the crew, spoke to lots of people, got as much info as I can.
We do have some very important course changes to announce. Yesterday morning the forecast wasn't too bad. However, last night it came out with, I think, 15 to 30 mil from 6 p.m. from now until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Now, if that actually happened and we hadn't implemented these changes, the race would actually be cancelled.
Working out mandatory gear list, what I need to pack.
Woke up Saturday morning feeling pretty relaxed. We had a 50k to run, we had a bit of a sleep in because the start had been bumped back by a couple of hours. I was pretty relaxed and ready to race. I was at the start, ready to go, no problems, got dropped off, but the car had to shuttle a few other people back and they wound up getting there, or they weren't late, but I was nervous about being them late. I was probably a little bit scatterbrained about the preparation and maybe a bit too focused on talking to other people. There's an interview at the start and we had a bit of fun at the start line, geeing up the party wave.
Good morning to the party wave!
You're going to share the trails with obviously a lot of this crowd. They're no less special than you, and they're wonderful people in their own right. But what can they do to help cheer you on?
I said in my profile that they should say grow a leg, you moron.
Normally I would start towards the back of the field in a kind of where I think my pace would put me. Because of how congested the start line was, because I was at the front doing an interview and stuff already, I wound up at the front of the pack. Yeah, I was a bit worried about that positioning making me push a little too hard early. There's so many up and downs and stairs and hills, and you know, if you're walking up this hill and you're at 15, 18, even 20 minutes a kilometre, there's no stress with that, and you're just walking along, and you know, from my point of view, as long as I kept moving, I was going to be pretty happy, and you know, every step the finish gets closer and you just keep moving until you get to the finish. Rather than being focused and directed like I probably would have liked, I forgot the tracker that I was supposed to be wearing that let everybody know kind of throughout the event where I was and how I was progressing and stuff. And so I wound up getting that delivered to me at the 10K mark. All the people around me were all pretty relaxed and happy to have a chat and talk and look around, and you know, looking across the valley, trying to spot the stairs that, you know, go up this cliff somewhere over there, and talking to people about it. So yeah, I was pretty relaxed and pretty comfortable through there. Yeah, obviously on a course like this, and particularly with the changes, come down the stairs, bit of traffic and things like this. So yeah, you know, we're racing, but we're patient racing. I was worried about not having good scenery because so much of the Blue Mountains area I don't know very well, and when we got there, up the Golden Stairs and then along Narrow Neck and the ladder and the views, and yeah, that was a really nice surprise and a bit of a motivator for me throughout the day. Pace for the first 10 was probably a bit slower than I would have liked. A bit of waiting and bottlenecks and that big golden staircase. But yeah, everything's on the plan so far.
$20K to the next water point. 20Ks to the next water point.
Did you hear the pterodactyl one?
No.
Mike?
Why can't you hear the pterodactyl go to the toilet?
Why?
Because the P is silent. And then we get to the top of the ladder, and you're kind of on this cliff face, and you come around the corner of the track and you can see a line up of people, and you go, okay, well, here's the ladder, no worries. So what are we, 19Ks in? We are standing at the lineup waiting for the ladder, and now I've started talking, everybody's turned around to look at me. Yep. And then you kind of get there and you're looking around trying to look down the line of people and see how far it goes. Because of the way the terrain works, you've got no idea how far this lineup is or how long you're going to be standing there.
What do you want to do with these? You want us to pass them down?
No, I'll strap them on the pack.
Excellent.
I'll do it from near the top of them so they hang pretty vertical.
Okay.
They don't stick out too far. Yeah, you get to the ladder and there's a bit of mucking around for me, crutches getting stuck in the rope frame around the ladder in my backpack and some things like that. Yeah, nice to ladder. bottom of the ladder, you're pretty keen to keep moving, to get the pace back up, and looking forward to what's ahead. Starting at the back of the pack, you start half an hour after the first 50k runners. The pace is lower, the number of stops is greater with some of the bottlenecks in the course and stuff.
My brain might have gone already, but that's okay. The brain's not necessary to run. The brain in some ways can be a big blockage to stop you running, to think about the consequences and pain and things like that. So the less brain I've got now, the better. You know, we're still jogging flats and downs pretty well, but yeah, it's starting to hurt a bit more on the uphills.
To be honest, through that section, from the checkpoint at, what was it, about 28, 30k mark, through to the next checkpoint at the 39k mark, somewhere there, our pace was fantastic through there. We were rolling along, we were regularly overtaking people and groups of people.
You're amazing.
Yeah, you know, we're still holding good pace on the downhills, tapping away. Good checkpoint again, another 6 or 7 k's, and then it's a home stretch. What have we got? A dozen k's left. There is one other big hill, Nellie's Glen, to come. So I don't know it, never been there before, but I know it's there. So hopefully we'll be able to, just keep moving.
The real pinch for me happened on a section of the 6-foot track. It was probably about the 41k mark. It was pitch black. In hindsight, I think we're probably going up a hill, just a false flat, a really flat hill. And because it was dark, you couldn't see. Because the pace had been so strong until then, I was trying to run it and running short sections and then feeling like I couldn't continue running and would go back to a walk. And really starting to feel the pinch there.
Yeah, things are gradually getting harder. I don't know, this trail looks flat. Maybe it's false flat or something. It's hard to see in the dark, but things are ramping up faster than I like them to. Bit of hands are going, elbows are starting to go a bit, shoulders. So time to dig deep and tough it out and turn the camera off.
The bottom of Nellie's Glen was quite technical, and there were some real sections there, a little creek crossing that I remember that I felt pretty vague, pretty off balance, and really just taking it easy and thinking about moving one crutch and then the other crutch and then my leg and then one crutch and just really moving slowly. And I guess started to worry about myself and my own mental state and balance and things. Just general energy levels started to drop, and I think at 41, 42k mark, as soon as we turned off onto Nellie's Glen and started obviously going up a hill, I had to stop. I was there in the dark by myself, ate some food, and then started moving. But yeah, once I hit the stairs, I started to feel a bit better and started to really get that rhythm that stairs can really give you. As we went over the top of the stairs, the trail started going back to rolling terrain. I started running again. I started hearing a group of people and some cowbells up ahead, and I started to think, oh, fantastic. Here comes the last checkpoint. And then we came across where the cowbells and this group of people were that I'd mistakenly assumed was the pool. And yeah, that kind of set me back a bit.
Well done, bro.
Amazing.
And I think I've gotten that the pool's still 3 k's away or something, which is not that far, but at the same time, given the condition I was in, given it was still pretty rolly, yeah, a bit of a mental setback there. And I remember thinking this has taken forever, that 3 k's to the pool. And then we got to the pool and it's like, fantastic, okay, I know where I am, there's 2 k's to go. I just need to get some water in me. I was feeling a bit dehydrated, and I had an emergency supply in the back of my pack, but nothing kind of available. So I've run in the pool, I've known we need to keep moving. I've just gotten 2-3 cups of water in. And then one of the event organisers, Madge, came up with a camera, stuck this camera in my face.
You've got like 3k to go.
You bastard! I thought it was 2.
Well, you know, we just want to make things honest, mate.
And said, okay, so it's only 3 or 4 k's to go now. How are you feeling? And I swear I was rude to the poor guy. He's there doing his job, and you know, I'm pretty focused on getting to the end. And that first initial thing, I thought that the pool was 2 k's to go to the end, and I was so focused on this 3 or 4 k's to go. You can hear probably 2.5 k's out to finish. There's so much atmosphere and so much lighting and stuff, and at times you could look over and see the finish.
When Michael Wilson comes up this event, he has taken 12 hours and 47 minutes so far.
At one stage we were heading directly away from the finish, and I'm like, oh, where does this silly course go, and when are we going to get there? And yeah, it just seemed to go on forever. And then finally kind of realised that we were heading back towards the finish. So I came around the corner, my kids were there waiting for me, and they jumped on the track. I really was just out of gas. I didn't really talk to them too much or acknowledge them very much. Running on subconscious desire to get to the finish. Yeah, I asked for James to run next to me and cross the finish line holding hands. You know, that feeling of just, thank God this is over. I've had enough. I'm empty, and I wish the finish had come 3 or 4 k's earlier.
Across the line, Michael Wilson, the dual Paralympian, bringing the Paralympics to the
Oh, yeah, my day was, everything you expected to be. It's painful, long, fun. I had a really cool crew around me, and it's good.
I had a great time at UTA, and the atmosphere that was created within our little group of 4 running together, the atmosphere that we were able to share with other people was fantastic. I'm going to remember the day at UTA forever.
Your first aid? Yeah. Who's your blister specialist? Yeah, 10 times better.